What is up, babes? How the hell are ya? It is Friday morning. Um, Things are going well. We do have a break next week, but this chapter was pretty solid, I will say. Um, and I feel like Loki's stock continues to rise in terms of like just liking him. I mean, not even. I know I've been talking about him being some buff dude for a while now, but there's also this moment with Yamato's chapter, and I forgot his name. The dinosaur man. I know she calls him Pepe. Page one does, or is he page one? He's page one. She's ulti. Okay, I'm ridiculous. Um, but he's alive. What a surprise! Oda didn't kill somebody, especially in a chapter story. Um, Once again, two bombshells were kind of dropped. I guess. Um, in my opinion, really only one. But just giants being giants. There was a moment at the beginning of this chapter with the dinosaur that reminded me so much of Little Garden, which is the first place that we even saw giants. So I really did enjoy that part. Seeing these guys in action, but they need to get to the field because there's a lot going on and they're just kind of chilling. I mean, Elbaf's huge, so I'm not surprised that they're not in the know of shit going down because of how big Elbaf is. But there's bad things going down and they don't even know it. Of course, they're kind of like overshadowed by the upper level and they're kind of just chilling in their own little area. But we're definitely getting some knowledge here. I think that they have to like go up there eventually, but we'll talk about that afterwards. Get a nice little back and forth between Sanji and Zoro, which I feel like has definitely died down. Oda just hasn't maybe had enough time for it. There's so many characters, so much going on in every single chapter that I'm not surprised that he can't really focus on that a ton. But we get this thing of Luffy feeding Loki, which is really funny, and he's just beating him up. And all the other giants are like, yeah, fuck him up. Yeah, we don't like that guy. But we don't want to get on his bad side at the same time because there's a good chance that he's going to be released eventually. Yeah, he's eating. He looks like he's recovering. I just don't think that he's going to be super active in the rest of this. But we did get a lot of good information from him. There's a situation where he talks about looking up to a pirate in your youth. And I love this because I think this is the bombshell of the chapter, in my opinion. He talks about knowing the feeling, and there's a bond immediately between the two of them. That's just, I feel like they're already kind of on this similar trajectory in terms of not only power, but now in terms of backstory and in terms of upbringing. But Loki, at like the age of, I have no idea. Do we even know how old Loki is? I don't think we do. But maybe we'll say like 15, maybe even younger. Some pirates visited here, and I think it's impossible to say that this isn't Rocks. There's only one panel where his hair's like real good. Nah, two. I mean, that's Rocks. That's got to be Rocks. But he had to try decently well, and I think this might be the first time. You could tell me if I'm wrong, if it was brought up during God's Valley. But Rocks uses a blade. He uses a blade of some kind. Do I say Mihawk stock's rising? I could, but I'm not gonna because that would be immature of me to say. But he talks about being born in the wrong era, which I feel. I mean, I feel like a lot of us do. I feel like a lot of people nowadays say this. I feel like in every era people are saying that. But that's just a hell of a moment. I mean, and the fact that he was able to make Rocks kind of take him somewhat serious. He's been a bad dude since he was a kid. I think that him and Luffy will grow to be friends. At the very least, like rivals where they're kind of together, similar to him and Law Rip or him and Kid Rip. But even stronger now because those two dudes are done. We get Scopper Gaban putting some moves on what are these things called? The Dragon? What are they? The Draugrs, which has got to be some mythological or Viking Norwegian lore. There, I don't know what a Draugr is, but these materializations of the kid's fears are taken care of. Scopper comments on the fact that Elbaf isn't safe means that the world really is ending. Because, yeah, I mean, to be dumb enough to attack the giants in their home, they seem technologically advanced. They seem super strong. I mean, Saul is getting some points here because he's taken out Fenrir by himself, and I think a lot of these guys are kind of struggling. Even though Saul doesn't want to be like a combat type, he is. He's very strong and he's very powerful. To be ranked like he was in the military, he was a vice admiral, I believe. But we got the firefighting giants, so they're like put together. Like their society, they got schools, they have like police departments, fire departments. They're very put together. But they try their best to take out the flames to save the kids. And I mean, none of us thought these kids were going to burn alive. Let's be honest. But Jinbei, the man, the myth, the legend, my man, my myth, and my legend, comes out and does a current shoulder throw, as he does, you know. Dude, I still remember when he did that, when they broke out of the prison. That shit was so hype. To get them on the ship. I don't even know if that's ever been passed to this point. Not just Jinbei, but like that part of the story. Anyway, I think we're getting there. If it is. But Gunko's talking some nasty shit. I'm just like, is this still One Piece? With a straight face, as far as we can tell, they'll wake up from the heat screaming for their parents in terror as they burn them down to the bone. I'm like, oh my god. Everybody else is like, what are you talking about? And they're just being painted as evil people because they're evil. I mean, the God's Knights are clearly high society bullshitters. And Saul thinks that it's over, but saved the day by Jinbei. And then Gunko's like, oh, it looks like one of these kids escaped. Now, what's interesting is Gunko comes on we have a break, sadly. But Gunko comes on the ship. We got some bad dudes on this ship. Robin and Chopper are not on the ship, but Jinbei is. Jinbei and Brook are on the ship. And it's kind of tough to necessarily power scale, and they might be at a disadvantage here because this bitch can fly. But it just seems like they're setting up my boy to get beat up. I just don't really see it any other way. I think that he's going to play protective because there's a kid on board, and she's going to probably get away with taking the kid. It kind of reminds me, this scene reminds me, and not a chance most of you remember this, Rave Master made a video on it a very long time ago. But with Hardeners, I forget the lady's name, but she was like the speed of light. And like they just skipped ahead and she took the prisoner with her, and then everybody was just beat to shit. But we've already seen her fight, and I think we're going to get some combat here. Zeus was also mentioned in the chapter, and Nami's there, so we'll see. I just don't really see her like taking an L here in almost any way, which is frustrating, which is annoying. But the big three are not here. Oh, Jinbei should be part of the big three, but it literally seems like this arc is when he's going to be demoted, which is very sad. Which is just very sad. He's just going to be overshadowed, which is sad. I love Jinbei. But yeah, that was it for the chapter. Solid one. We do have a break week next week. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I got a couple of fights this weekend. Myself doing jiu-jitsu on Saturday, which is tomorrow. And then I got a Muay Thai scrimmage on Sunday. So wish me luck. Hopefully I don't come to you guys battered and beat up next week if I do make a video. But have a good weekend, guys. Stay safe. God bless.